Hi everyone, it's Anne. Welcome to my channel, Annie's Abstract Art, where I do just that. I was in the mood to do something very simple and organic with a little bit of color, using mixed media such as various papers, a little bit of acrylics, DIY alcohol ink, and chalk pastel, and this is how it turned out. I can't wait to show you how I did it. The video will start now. Enjoy. So to get the composition started, I am sprinkling on silver Marlin acrylic paint that I diluted with Flow Aid in the bottle. So it's very, very fluid. And then with an old sponge, just rubbing it on, getting some kind of a composition started. And this is copy paper that has a little bit of cast off on it from a previous project, and I'm trimming the edges so that it's nice and organic. Preparing it with the gel matte medium. And then once that was down, I broke out my filbert brush, removed the brush head, getting ready to apply my DIY alcohol ink that I make with alcohol, glycerin, and black acrylic. And I have brown alcohol ink that I make as well. So I dried the black one first and then broke out the brown DIY alcohol ink, brushed it on with a smaller water brush, being careful not to go off the edges. So that's why I'm showing you the whole thing, because I want you to see how careful you have to be to stay within the framework. And then I purposely go out of the lines, if you will. And now this is 140-pound watercolor paper, just like the canvas, tearing the edges for that organic look, adding some matte gel medium. And before it dried, I lifted it and slipped in aged book paper. That's from a resume sample book. I'm a retired resume writer, 3 decades. And this is a surgical technician, I believe, resume sample. And now with the sponge, I am just adding some texture with white heavy body acrylic. Here I am tearing the old book paper so that it looks more organic. And this is collage paper. I go over it with the brown alcohol ink, and later I go over it with black. And here I'm diluting the brown alcohol ink with water so that it's lighter than the first layer of the brown that's underneath. And I was careful not to go over the white edges so you can really, so they show up. Here I'm going over the collage with diluted black acrylic, using a water brush. I don't fill the water brushes. I just like the nibs, the nylon nibs. Dried it really well and then added the metal bit in the Tealight that holds the wick. And now with some hot glue, I'm adding an old scrap, which was watercolor paper. And now I'm going around the edges with gray chalk PanPastel, which is chalk in a pan. I was going to say chalk pastel, but it is chalk pastel, but it's in a pan. And the reason why I chose to use the gray PanPastel is because it's the closest thing to white. And right here, what I'm looking to do is tear the edges on all 4 sides, just like I did the small top layer right there, the light brown one. And if I didn't add the gray, the white wouldn't show up. And I am showing this process in real time. I didn't time lapse it like I do so many other frames, because I want to show how tedious it is to tear such a narrow piece off the edge with thick watercolor paper. It actually hurts my fingers. And you can see right here, it wants to tear more. So you kind of have to hold it at a certain angle and, you know, just kind of get that rhythm going and that the right tension so that it stays straight. And this is the last side. And it's such a tedious process, but as you can see, it is worth it. So here I want to get some markings. So I'm using a real brush pen by Arteza, which is kind of a mix between a brush and a marker. And you get really fine lines. It's soft. It's easy to go over the lines and make them a little thicker. And what I'm trying to do here is almost mimic thread. And you'll see that I do a few lines to almost get that look as if there were some stitches there, some stitching, either hand done or from a sewing machine, mostly hand done. And because that little piece from the Tealight, it kind of looks like it was like a thimble or something from a sewing machine. It just had that look. So I'm just adding some quote unquote stitchings down here. That was a lot of fun. And now I'm adding some more old book paper, right? Tucking it right under that other layer to balance it and tearing it because it was a little off-centered. And now to help that layer stand out, I'm hitting it with some brown chalk pastel just around the edge, a little bit at the bottom, so it looks like it was not just in that one spot. And now to add a little bit of energy to the piece, this is diluted white acrylic in a precision bottle, and now a few dots as a last step. So a little extra design, a little fun, little whimsy. So we have all neutral colors with a little bit of grayish blue, and it is done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you have any questions about my process or materials, which I've detailed below, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. And if you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you will because I upload regularly. Until the next video, take care. I'll see you soon.